believe you were on the show last when you hit that unicorn status, and high valuations can be a blessing and a curse. What do you make of that number at a time when we are in the middle of so much economic, social, and health uncertainty?
It has been a trying year, I think, for everyone. I think the first thing that goes to our mind when we think about this year is, our team, how we can be supporting them as everybody's figuring out how to transition into this, world where personal and work lines are being blurred. Families are obviously having challenges. I do think that, in terms of the valuation, we've always taken a more measured approach than perhaps the Silicon Valley mythology would dictate. And so with this round, as well as our prior one, we really spent a lot of time organically building relationships with investors to really make sure that we knew, the kind of long-term expectations and commitment that we'd both be making. And so we've never put emphasis on the valuation so much as the long-term partnership, because I think the real win for us is not the valuation change in a 1 or 2 year time frame, but can we be the biggest possible company in this multi-$100 billion category opportunity?
Now, Airtable makes it easier to create things without needing to code. And I know it's been essential for so many small business owners, even consumers, especially at this time when we're all stuck at home, working from home. What has demand been like for you in the midst of the pandemic? And what are the major use cases that you're seeing?
So one of the interesting things about Airtable is when we first started the company, we thought this would be much more of an SMB and probably even more of a tech startup oriented customer base. So early on, we imagined, it'll probably be other startups like us that go and use our product. Lo and behold, we were kind of surprised by just how much diversity of usage we got even before COVID. And so we were getting cattle farmers and lawyers, as well as major enterprises doing things like, film productions or major, product launches with Airtable. I think what's really changed in the time of COVID is, with enterprise especially, we're seeing this kind of second wave of digital transformation that's happening, that's being accelerated by COVID. The first wave was really about just getting communication tools in place. So obviously, when shelter in place hit around the country and around the world, everybody was scrambling just to figure out, how do we communicate? It's almost like in the Maslow hierarchy of needs for the enterprise, communications is the first layer. If you can't communicate, you can't do anything else. But now that that's mostly out of the way, I think, most companies have Zoom or Slack set up. I think that there's, this opportunity to really come in and help create structured work in a much more, agile, digitized way. And that's where Airtable comes in with the app platform approach.
You obviously have Microsoft with its Office suite of software, Excel, Google with its own productivity suite. What sets Airtable apart from them?
So this was a really interesting year for us because I think Microsoft and Amazon actually launched their own more direct competitive offerings in this space. So, this was the year that low code as a category really became, very validated, I think, by the market. And so really with our product, we differ from the existing Office suites, spreadsheets, et cetera, because Airtable is ultimately not just a better spreadsheet, but an app platform. You can actually build real apps, and that's one of the big exciting aspects of this launch is that we're taking the product one step towards, a huge step towards being able to customize, even deeper applications. So the film production use case, for instance, can build an even more specific add-on to Airtable using code if they want to do something like resource management in a very unique way. So, I think that our focus is really going to be on continuing to differentiate the product. This is not a product where, the category becomes commoditized, but rather one where, differentiation really matters, and winning the hearts and minds of creators, the people who are actually going to go and build apps, that's paramount to success in this category.
We're seeing a lot of companies, benefit from work from home trends, but also struggle to understand how much of this is pull forward demand, how much of this is new demand, how much of this is going to be recurring demand. Post COVID, or when we are in some sort of new normal, do you think this growth will be sustainable? Could it plateau even?
So I think that the broader trend is durable for us. This is not just the kind of early and initial hit of, digitization because of the remote work phenomenon. I think this was something that was already happening and really at the very beginnings of the trend. And this idea that everybody needs apps is not yet mainstream. I don't think we're yet pulling forward the majority of growth that there is to come. Rather, I think there's going to be 500 million new apps created in the next 5 years. That's something that analysts like IDC have cited, but even Satya has said on stage. And so, we're really at the very beginnings of the appification of every part of the enterprise. And, we hope to empower more creators with a better solution than any other product out there.